The engine is self-starting.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Rift Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello again, all my creepy little weirdos out there, and thanks for checking in on my little podcast on my creepy little corner of the internet. Tonight, we descend into one of the darkest corners of the internet, a place filled with whispered voices, shadow figures, haunted houses, and encounters people swear changed their lives forever. From footsteps in empty hallways to terrifying entities standing at the foot of your bed. Tonight, we are reacting to some of the creepiest stories ever shared on r/ghost reddit.com. But before we begin, I want to take a quick moment to show some love to my Green Eggs Foundation crew. an incredible nonprofit dedicated to helping children explore the arts through music, theater, photography, writing, and creativity. If you would like to support an amazing cause, make a real difference, then please check them out and show them some love. Now, back to the real question. Are these stories real? Or are we opening the door to something we shouldn't? So, my fellow creepy weirdos, as you know, my name is Christina, and tonight alongside me is a special guest, Rene Hurt. Um, I'll be your tour guide through the realms of the unexplained, the paranormal, and the just plain weird. And welcome again to Horror History and Hauntings. Hi, Renee.
Hi, Christina.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm on
Now,
my little speaker today.
whatever works, right? Right, whatever works. That's why I use my gaming headset. People are like, "Oh, I know you. I recognize your headset." All right, we are already got a couple people popping in. We have Adam, of course. Hey, Adam. Hey, hey, hey. Thought we'd try something a little different for a change. And of course, we got Ed Howie Odell. Hello, hello, hello. What the hell? Yep, our newest show. Tonight, she has Renee returning with some amazing stories, Rob. And Rob said, my phone doesn't have work, but if anything to do with the Rift Nation Network, it alerts crazy. Yeah, because we go out to a bunch of different things. Awesome stuff. Hello from Bon Air, Virginia, and other frog brother. And of course, Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda. I finally got to meet Rhonda in person not too long ago at Cabin 360, where the roots of the RNN network kind of started. So that was really awesome. I got to meet Rhonda and Ryan from the other shows on the network. So thank you, Rhonda, for checking in.
Well, everybody is on the East Coast
Yep.
but me.
Oh, that's right.
And
You're
I
on the
am
West
stuck.
Coast.
No, I'm in Illinois.
Oh, Illinois.
I was in Michigan. So we were still on the same time zone.
Mm-hmm.
But I moved to Illinois and had to be all weird and go Central Time on everybody.
Which is better because that means you get to start like an hour earlier.
Yeah. But it's confusing talking to you guys and y'all say 9:30 and I'm going, okay, and it comes to 9:30 and the show's over.
Right? And you're like, I missed something there. Well, Renee, you were talking that you had some really exciting news recently.
Yes. I got asked day before yesterday to be the downstairs information desk and the storyteller for the Rock Island Expo.
The Rock Island Expo?
Yeah, I'd have to give you the name of it. I'll send it to you later.
And what do they do at the expo?
It's a Paracon.
Okay.
And last year was one of the last stops for Annabelle.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was in the same building with Annabelle, but I never got back up to actually meet her. Some of the Nesper guys wanted me to go back up, and I ran out of time, and I wasn't able to go back up. But yeah, so I didn't get to meet her yet. But we've been in the same building.
I've been in the same building. Didn't get anything from her. Maybe she's faking.
Or she could have just been sleep traveling. Maybe she's, got that jet lag or something.
Maybe they told her to be good or else.
Right? Maybe. It says, thanks for hosting on the Rift Nation Network. Exactly, Bob. Rob, Renee is our cousin by marriage. I guess we're explaining how the family works there.
Yeah. But also,
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Leonard is my cousin by marriage, too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I married into Howie's family. My mother's sister married into Jeremy's family.
Oh, gotcha. Now, what else will you be doing at the expo? I know that there's a little bit more to that. Weren't you going to be doing some storytelling?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing storytelling, and I get to tell people where to go as Pally. I'm good at that.
Right? That's what I was gonna say. I think you already have that skill.
But last year they used me,
Yep.
not the Paracon,
Mhm.
but I was at where my table was at an exit people could go in and out of, but they wasn't for sure about.
Right?
And they'd ask me, "Can I go up these stairs?" And I'd say, "Yeah, go up the stairs, and you're right out the exit door."
So you were
Oh,
tour
okay.
guiding before you even got to be a tour guide.
Yeah, and I do a lot of free promoting for these guys because it is an awesome Paracon. It's a 1 day, not
Oh,
a 2
gotcha.
day.
Nice. And is that in Illinois?
Yeah, that's in my town in Rock Island.
Oh, the Rock Island. Duh, I know about that.
Yeah. Y'all West Coasters need to come visit me. It's too far the other way.
When is this Paracon?
I think it's the first week in October.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
think the first
Well,
weekend.
if you ever need a friendly parapsychologist to do a panel or whatever, I might know somebody. I'm not going to say who or, promote at all for our sound only, audio only peoples. I was pointing to myself. You're missing out when you don't watch the YouTube. That's all I can say. You're missing out. You missed the floppy banana and you missed some of the jokes. That's all I can tell you. But I thought for funsies today, I wanted to make sure Renee got to do her announcement. But because she was super excited and I'm kind of excited for her. And, Rhode Island is kind of a big deal.
It is the only Paracon I get to go to.
Well, true, because it's close to you.
Because I don't have to come up with gas money or a hotel room.
Right. I agree. The closer the better when it comes to those cons, but some of us were a little crazy and we go all the way to Maine. So it is what it is in New York sometimes. All right. So I thought go
the
ahead.
stories I'm gonna tell is local. I'm gonna gather basic stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like here in Rock Island, there's the gangster tunnels, which I think there's more to it than that. I think they're
Those
older than.
tunnels. Yeah, those tunnels are really old. And I think that because, we being the humans that we are and our ingenuity, we'll use things over and over and remake them and redo them over and over. So it's hard to tell how long those tunnels actually have existed.
Well, I figure this is what I figure on them tunnels. Don't have proof, but this is what I figure. The roads are so narrow downtown in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And I figure because I've never seen a wharf or a shipping dock here in town, I figure when the town started, the business owners got together and made a delivery route under town instead of on the regular street. So nobody was like an alleyway underground.
Mm-hmm. Like an underground shipping system.
Yeah. They would make the deliveries to the stores or the homes or the whatever, because it's not just businesses here in town that have access to them tunnels.
Right.
Down the street, my mother-in-law knew a lady that had access to the tunnels through her basement.
Makes you wonder if it was possibly part of like the Underground Railroad.
It was. It was part of the Underground Railroad. It was part of bootlegging.
I was going to say that too.
It was a part of a lot of things. But I honestly think it started out as a delivery route to businesses and houses.
That would make logical sense. I mean, that would explain why, but I wonder if they even go back further than that. Like when the city was built. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. They had to get together, the city being built, and figure out a delivery system from the Mississippi River into town.
Yep.
And they built the tunnel.
Yeah. Would be perfect for that. Yeah. I
But
agree.
they also go over to the Rock Island Arsenal, which is still a military base
Hmm.
between Davenport and Rock Island. They go there too.
Hmm.
So I figured, with as much history as there is on the tunnels, I'll make up a story.
Right.
And I will let people know that it's made up. It's not real. Locations
Hmm.
might be real, but the people involved do not exist,
Right.
except for in my head. And sometimes, that's a scary place.
Same with mine. So it's just more for entertainment than for historic,
Yes. Yes.
tours or anything like that. Just to make it clear.
There's so much I can work with.
Right. Right. There's a lot you could do with like haunted tunnels and like what the purposes originally were for and, you know, hide
Yeah.
cryptids. You could go anywhere with that concept.
Yeah.
Aliens, cryptids.
Keep in mind, I'm also from Louisiana, which is where? Right on the Mississippi.
Right.
And
Right.
I was always taught that there was an alligator man.
Hmm.
Who's to say one of them didn't come upstream and make us homes in the tunnel?
Right. See, that could be creepy all in itself. So that would be exciting. That would be exciting to hear what you come up with then. But unlike the our Reddit, our excuse me, our ghosts on reddit.com who are supposedly real life events. I thought it would be fun if we read a couple of those out loud and we kind of give our
Okay, I
commentary. Go ahead.
I think I've just got YouTube.
For what?
That's all I'm reading.
Oh yeah. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on all the channels. Love
Okay,
Myrtle's Plantation, Adam says.
I
Do you
don't
need to
know.
see the chat? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, all I've got is Howie and Rob's chat.
Right? They took over.
So give me a minute.
Okay. I was just going to read them out loud.
Okay, that's that. I don't know what that one is. Let's see. No, we're gonna go back. I guess that's all I'm getting. Looks
Okay.
like YouTube.
That's fine. I just looked up it. This was from Croissant Meal on Our Ghost. It's a thread titled "What's the scariest paranormal or not experience that you've ever had?" The first one that I came across, it says, I got stuck at night at a very remote rest area up in the mountains, nothing for miles around, and no cell service. Sounds like where I live. Up in the mountains, no cell service. I was about 2 hours from home. My key fob fell apart. The key portion got locked inside my car, and the fob wasn't working, so they couldn't get in their car, it looks like. I'm a woman and I had to choose between accepting a ride from a man I didn't know that lives in the same town as me and staying there alone with the one scary looking guy that was just hanging out. That doesn't sound like a good choice to be making. I would have spent hours in the cold and rain hoping somehow that my husband would know where to come look for me when he got home from work at 1 a.m. and I wasn't there. In the end, I chose to take the ride because the man had spent 30 minutes trying to help me get into my car while talking to everyone that passed through to see if they had a battery that would fit my fob and allowing himself to be seen with me by at least 10 people. Either choice was terrifying and it could have gone badly, but I didn't know what else to do. It was 5 years before I could make that drive alone after that. So that's her
See,
most scariest moment. That's not really paranormal, but people are scarier than I think the paranormal ever can
see,
be.
she went off with a stranger in a strange car,
Mhm.
which is dangerous in itself. Me, I would have hung out with the weirdo that was hanging around. She might have been more fun.
Right, or tried to call somebody from a payphone or something. Well, they don't really have payphones anymore,
He
but
might have had a cell phone,
well, maybe, yeah. It's like, well, is there a way that she could have called home? But people don't memorize phone numbers
but
anymore.
she did say cell service was not there, did not exist.
Exactly. So I don't know. That's tough. Like if there was like she said that she was on at a um road, it was a rest area. So there wasn't even any place where she could
They
like go to a
have
restaurant and ask for to use a phone or something.
most rest areas nowadays. I don't know how
Yeah,
long it's been.
this
Nowadays,
was 5
most.
months ago.
Okay. Well, nowadays, most rest areas have a phone where you have an emergency. You pick it up and it calls the cops.
Yeah.
It
See,
goes
that
directly to the
probably is an
police
option
department.
that she was unaware of. So yeah, keep that in mind. There are phones at rest areas so you can call the police department.
There's
Then they
even
could help you.
payphones.
Yeah. Some of
Most
them still got
usually
the old
still have,
payphone.
yeah. That- That's what I would have done. I would have hung out with the weirdo.
Here's one. Curious Leader 2093. I've been nearly killed in cars. I've almost drowned. I've been targeted by thieves, but absolutely nothing in my life compares to the fear I felt in this one experience. I was sleeping, and in my dream my wife wakes up afraid, points to the end of the bed and goes, "What is that?" I sit up and see a large dark shadow, just in the shape of a big square, like a big black sheet. I rise up and then it falls on top of us, covering us in darkness. In my sleep, I call out, which wakes my wife up, who then wakes me up for real. I tell her I just had the scariest dream, and she said, "Wait, I was just dreaming that there was something big at the end of our bed." Hearing that she'd seen something similar freaked me out even more. I tried to tell her exactly what I dreamed, but it was like my mouth didn't want to form the words. I literally had to force myself to articulate each individual word. And doing so made my heart beat and gave me cold chills. And it wasn't from like an adrenaline rush or anxiety. I know very well what those feel like. Even the next day, I tried to bring it up again, and it was like my body didn't want to. Never in my life has anything remotely close to this ever happened. That was a feeling of fear that I had never experienced. And it was for something totally weird that I can't even explain. Other than that, it was like the darkness wanted to smother us and to claim us as their own. I've never knew that fear could feel like that. Danger to my body does not do that. So that's kind of a crazy story.
That's a crazy dream.
Mhm. What's the fact that him and his wife had the same dream, but neither one of them can talk about it? That's kinda scary. Like, there may be something to that one, I have to say.
Well, a lot of married couples, they don't say it. But like me and Jim, we don't have to say nothing to each other.
Oh.
And we look at each other and he'll say something and I'd be thinking it. Being awake, I'd just be thinking it. He'll say like, huh, I could go for some ice cream.
Right?
And I'm sitting there thinking, well, we have ice cream in the freezer because I wanted some too.
Mhm.
But he's the one that voices it before I could say anything. I could
Right?
go for some ice cream.
Yeah, Sig and I are simpatico sometimes like that. Like, we'll both be think and we'll have conversations without words. We'll just kinda look at each other and, like, it's all in the eyebrows, you know?
We do finger motions. We talk in sign language a lot.
But yeah, definitely like there's a connection when you're very solid with your partner and they're and I'm a firm believer in past life, so you never know. Connections kind of carry through the universe or the cosmos sometimes and
Well,
you
me and
reconnect.
Me and Jim's been that way since the day we met.
Sig and I was the same.
And at first I'd tell him, Bubba, you stay out of my head. I'm a Scorpio, and I will leave you in the fetal position.
It's the same, except he is an Aquarius, so it's like, stay out of my head. I don't like it.
Jim's a Virgo.
Oh,
And I'll tell him, you better stay out of my head. I will leave you in the fetal position. It took years. We got together in 2012. So
Mhm.
it's been over 10 years now. But it took about 4 or 5 years for me to let him in
Mhm.
past that wall that if he ever really got past,
Right.
he'd, uh, so yeah, he'll tell you, I stay out of her head that time.
Sig's always like, just because we're working on 10 years now that we've been together.
Yeah, we've been together 13 years
Mhm.
and married. I think we've been married 8 or 9. We don't celebrate anniversaries, so I don't know.
It all blends together.
That all blends together.
Yeah, after so long, it just all blends together.
But
But yeah, that was creepy. Yeah. And I've had like with my previous I've been married 3 times, but with
me
my
too.
second husband my second husband that passed away, we all had this weird connection with dreams because we used to have the same nightmare all the time. And then once we actually talked about the nightmare to each other, neither one of us has ever had it again. It was the weirdest thing. So I
Huh.
believe, couples can connect through dreams in some way or another.
They just have that connection where I bet you they're both empaths or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Me and Jim are.
Sig is very he's a introvert by nature, but like if you get to know him, like he opens up and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit to get him to, relax and be himself. But
Well, see,
I don't know about him being an empath so much because one, he's Aquarius. Two, like he's never had a paranormal experience or anything. He's dancing in the background. Yes, I'm talking about you. Don't let go to your head. He's got his hands up. He's like, "Yep, you're talking about me, me, me."
well, see, I am a very unique Scorpio because I was raised by an Aquarius.
So you know,
So I've
but
got her traits and the Scorpio traits all mixed together, and I've got 2 sisters. Right, I got an older sister and a younger sister. And I'm in the middle. And when we're together, one of us will pop off something, and the other 2 will look at you and go, "That's your mother coming out."
I get that a lot because see, I'm a surprise baby, like really surprise baby. And my sister is 11 years older than me. My brother's 13, but they always tell me I am the most like my mother when it comes to like what I look like and my voice and that kind of stuff. So I have my dad's temper, but my mom's um, gentle nature, I guess, is the best way to put it.
My husband knows when to back off
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
in an
partners
argument.
pick up on that. They know. They know it. Now is not the time. Let me step out. Let me get her some chocolate and let me re-enter the conversation.
No, no, no. He knows when my head starts bobbing and my southern accent goes from southern to Cajun. He says, I need to remove myself from this situation.
Me,
Because
it's when I start getting real Appellation. I guess I get mad, that twang comes out, and my
Yeah.
words start merging into sentences without a break.
And you start saying things your grandparents used to say.
Yep, like Dad, nabbit, would you knock that shit off? Take my flip flop. I'm gonna smack you upside the head with it.
I told Jim one time I was so mad, and it was one of them situations where he'd been holding me and he said something that made me instant mad. And I couldn't think of anything other to say other than you better let me go or by God, I'm going to go put my teeth in and I'm going to bite you.
I love that. Ooh, damn, power of three. Oh Lord, yep, know about that. Our mom, one of three, and I have $3. Lord, you got the power.
My mother, okay, there's
That's
power of 3 with me. With
hilarious.
my mother, there's a power of 5.
Mm,
I don't know exactly what that means, but they're all gifted
mm,
from my grandfather's side. And the 4 that my grandma had, because grandpa has an older daughter that lives in Germany. That's 5.
mm.
The 4 they had together are strong. But me and my other 2 sisters, we're stronger. We're stronger individually than they are together.
Oh, sneak peek. No, I'm trying to redo the back of where my office is. Like I'm rearranged and I'm putting stuff up, and I'm like, don't give it away.
Don't worry about it. Look at my background. That's all my mother-in-law stuff I hadn't gone through yet.
No, I ain't too worried about it.
It ain't going nowhere. It ain't gone anywhere for 40 years. It'll be there another day.
One day you'll get around to it. All right, here's another story. Broad suspect, 8830. This was 5 months ago. Mine happened when I was younger, but I still remember it. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I had a box room as I was the youngest sibling. Haha. Anyway, my mom tucked me in, kissed me goodnight. I woke up needing to go to the bathroom, but I was always scared walking around the house at night. So I just tried to fall back asleep. I'm also pretty sure it was the first night that I'd moved into my own room, having shared with my older sister before, which is always scary anyway when you move into your own room.
Oh,
My
yeah.
sister and I shared a room for, my first 5 years of life, and suddenly I had my own room, so I can relate. As I felt something or someone sit on my bed, and it didn't move, but the energy wasn't scary at all. I peeked my head up from my pillow, and honestly, as wild as this sounds, I saw a woman, elderly dressed in traditional Indian dress, sat smiling at me warmly. It's kind of reminiscent of my first encounter with my grandfather. She told me not to be scared, and there was nothing in the house but good, and she gave me this green scarf she was wearing to give me for comfort. I took it and just fell back to sleep. When I woke up, it was gone, but I remember how it looked and how it felt to this day. I woke up the next morning thinking nothing of it, probably because I wasn't scared and plus the scarf was gone. I did tell my sister, but she just kind of didn't care, lol. And then a few years later, I was at my aunt's house and she was going through family photos that I had not seen before. And there was a picture of a woman wearing the same outfit and the same scarf that the woman sitting on the bed gave me when I was younger. It was her grandma. So my great grandma, I geeked out. My sister actually believed me too and thought it was really sweet. Uh, I also always get told I look like her. So that's very reminiscent to my first paranormal encounter. Because when I was 8, my grandfather passed away from leukemia. And I had the chance to say goodbye to him at the hospital, but I was 8, and all the tubes and things hooked up to him and the noises and the bright lights and everything, it just scared me. So I didn't go in. So I think it was his way of saying that it was okay.
Yeah,
and
he was okay.
he was saying goodbye to me. But it was the same thing. I remember to this day that I felt like somebody sit on my bed. I could smell cigar smoke because he always smoked these big fat cigars, and I felt like this pressure on my head, like he was kissing me goodbye, and then he just got up and left, and the smell went away, and I bawled for hours. And then when mom woke me up to tell me that he had passed, I told her.
Yeah, that happens a lot with children. You know that?
Hmm. But yeah, that was my first ever paranormal thing that I remember. Like my mom and my family members always said like I had a very active imagination and I was talking to invisible friends growing up because I was mostly like an only child. So the only person I had to play with was myself. So of course they concluded that it was just my overactive imagination. Could be anything else. It wasn't until later on in life that I figured out like some of that may not have all just been in my head, my creative head as a child. But and I actually come to that conclusion later in life when my oldest daughter started experiencing stuff that I couldn't explain away either. So I learned from her and I'm like, okay, well, this is what's going on. And I would find out information about certain places and things she was seeing, and they intersected with these invisible friends she was having. Some of them not so nice and not so friendly. But then I was like, okay, that's what and then my aunt also mentioned to me that my grandmother was sensitive. She was also sensitive, but it skipped my mother. And I think it's
Right.
probably because she was the oldest of 8. So she had to grow up so quick to help with the younger siblings. So she didn't have that imagination and that openness that her younger siblings maybe had more of a chance to have.
Well,
But
see, I don't remember my first experience.
do they
My
all just
mom,
blur together?
I've always seen things.
Mhm.
And mom says she remembers me being about 3 months old in my crib, and I'd reach for things that were not there.
Yep, that's a common thing if you're sensitive. I've come to realize that, like, because all my girls have done that. My biological girls, I mean, like, I have a fourth, but she's not biologically mine. She's my boyfriend's, but we've been together for 10 years and she's graduating. She's graduating high school this year. I'm so proud of
Yay! Congratulations!
her. Yeah. But yeah, I know that all 3 of mine have had their own weird things when they were kids.
My mom, I don't know. It's her power, I guess. We've always lived in a haunted house.
Well, conclude that sometimes it's not the house that's haunted, it's the people. So,
Like when me and my second husband, I just had my youngest. We had moved into a mobile home he had to redo while I was pregnant. We moved in, and it was a house trailer. It was the land, it wasn't the house that was haunted.
mhm.
It was part of the original Trail of Tears.
Oh, wow.
And in that place, we would have this Indian woman that would show up and freak him out one night. I wasn't home. I was somewhere, but I wasn't home. And I get home the next morning. He goes, I didn't sleep at all last night. This Indian woman kept bending over, looking into my eyes.
Oh, see, that's spooky.
And I go, well, what'd she look like? And he goes, well, she looked kind of like a grandma, with the gray hair and the
Mhm.
wrinkles and all that. I said, I don't know her name, but she is a guardian. She's not just a spirit, you know. She's a guardian. She's looking out for the good of us, for us.
Mhm.
And we lived there 5 or 6 years and moved. And when we moved, the guy that owned the house rented it out to these people. And it was a house trailer. The
Mhm.
main entrance was sliding glass doors. He rented it out to this couple that fought a lot. And they had kids that were not very nice kids. They were bullies and everything else. And the man that moved in after us with his family got thrown through that sliding glass door as it was closed. Like somebody had picked him up and threw him hard through that window. And we never experienced anything like that.
Huh.
And we found that weird because he said it was some old lady, some old Indian lady that did it. He seen her, just picked him up and threw him through the window.
Wow.
I said, well, there's your sign. Pack your shit and get out.
Right. She don't like you.
She don't like you.
Skedaddle, as they say.
But that trailer was neat. It was on 480 acres of farmland field.
Oh, wow.
And the guy that rented the fields in the barn had this 5,000-pound Black Angus bull. He was mean to everybody. He got on that farm, and I went out there to check him and, whatever, bring him a treat. And he was not mean to us. He almost killed 3 people before he got to the farm.
Oof.
And he got there, and I put my foot, I had my tennis shoes on, some leather kids, put my foot up on the fence rail on the bottom, and he licked my shoe off, and he was just as happy as could be. I said, you just keep it. Here's the other one. And threw it over the fence. But as he lived there, he would get out of the field, break a fence or something, and he'd come and put his nose against that sliding glass door and open it first thing in the morning. And the next thing I know, I've got this big Black Angus eating apples out of the fruit bowl on my cabinet. It was awesome.
It was a bull weekend.
He just opened the door and walked right on through.
Instead of a bull in a china shop, it's a bull in a kitchen.
Yeah.
A lot of mess and a lot of bullshit.
And after they moved him, he turned mean again. I go,
Wow.
well, and because he was a breeder bull, he was used to breed.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cows he bred with gave birth to this miniature cow
Aww.
named Pee-wee. And when Pee-wee was 2 years old, he was the size of a newborn calf.
Aww.
He never grew. And we told the guy that owned him, I said, just change his name every year and you enter him in the fair.
The cat fairs.
Change his name every year. Give him a new birthday.
The immortal cow. The vampire cow. That's
The
like,
vampire cow.
yeah, cannibal cows. Okay, here's another story. And this is from Duchess of Cheez-Its.
Makes me hungry.
Right? It's a good name. This happened to my husband. I was waiting on him in the car in this scenario. This was his first full-time job, and it was housed in a building that had previously been a convent. People joked about ghosts. He said the vibe was weird, but witnessed anything. One evening, he realized he had left a file in his office and needed to retrieve it. This was around 10 p.m. So the office had been closed for over 5 hours. He had a key and decided to go get the file. I'm sitting in the car for a few minutes, and suddenly he came running out, slamming the car door, and said, "Go!" We tore out of the lot. So whatever it is, it spooked him and spooked her in return. All of the offices were on a long corridor, and each had a door. All the doors were open. He was midway down the hall, he grabbed his file and exited his office. So once he was in the hall, the very last office door at the far end of the hall slammed shut on its own. No one was in the building. No vents going on or radiator heat, anything. He watched that door briefly, and then suddenly all of the doors began slamming shut in order, starting with the furthest ones, but working their way down the hall towards him. He blasted out of there, never ever went back into that building unless it was business hours. Looks like he wasn't
Wow.
supposed to be there after work hours. That's what it sounds like.
He was invading personal space.
Mm-hmm. As somebody that's worked night shift security for many years, things get, active when the people go away sometimes. Like it's charging up all day with all the energies and the
Well,
emotions of people throughout the day, and then finally there's quiet, and then they're able to use that energy to manifest. And if they don't want you there, they will let you know that you aren't welcome.
well, I don't know. That could be the case, but then again, it could be the case of in the daytime, it's for people,
Mm-hmm.
living people.
Right? Nighttime is for the dead.
Nighttime is for their dead or for the dead.
Hmm.
And maybe the ghosts or spirits have it backwards and they're actually thinking it's their daytime instead of their nighttime.
Yeah, maybe. And she continued to say in the comments, she said, husband has always been pretty level headed, and we've both seen somewhat on the fence about supernatural things. However, this one threw us for a loop. We've had a couple of weird things happen over the years, but that one was pretty convincing. So they aren't experiencers, and this happened to them. So it could happen to anybody.
Yeah. You don't have to be sensitive.
No, you don't.
If a spirit has a message, you're going to get it through whether you're sensitive or not.
If they want to send you a message, they certainly will. That's for sure.
And whether it's a good message or a bad message, sometimes that depends on how you receive it.
Right. Most definitely. And then Truth Seeker 1321 responded. He said, I had a similar but opposite experience my freshman year in college and have posted it in other paranormal subs. This was about 25 years ago. I was attending one of the big Midwestern universities, so you never know, they might have been in Illinois. We had a pointless survey class at 7:30 a.m. in the Fine Arts building, which I later came to learn was haunted. I had a campus water bottle that I often filled up at the water fountain at the end of class in the hall. The class was on the second floor, which was only a single corridor with 5 classrooms only on one side. Next to the water fountain was a staircase that descended to the main entrance area, and on the other end, the doors to the back stairwell. To enter that early, you could only go from the back of the building, go up this black stairwell, and the classroom was the first one on the right. Fountain on the other end of the hallway. We were only in class in the building at that hour, and all the other classrooms were locked with heavy metal doors on them. Being a fine arts building meant that the doors were designed to be fire safe and had no windows. The doors opened into the classroom, not into the hall. As I walked to the fountain one morning, a friend followed me to do the same. The fourth door suddenly opened all on its own. I stopped and looked in. The classroom was pitch black. The shades were drawn closed, and no one was in the room. I looked back at my friend who goes, That was weird. I continued to walk. As I passed the next door, it also opened exactly as the previous one had. Same deal. My friend got creeped out and ran back to class. I shrugged and got my water and told whatever it was to leave me alone. There was no explanation for locked doors opening by themselves the moment I walked in front of them. This was not a prank, and still to this day, I have no rationale to explain it. So it was basically the same thing. Doors that shouldn't be opening or opening, or doors slamming that shouldn't.
Now, I'm a 30-year CNA,
Mm-hmm.
and I've worked in good facilities and I've worked in bad facilities. You know, it just depended on how lucky I got when I was searching for a job. And I worked for this facility that was owned by a company called Beverly Healthcare.
Okay.
They're one of them that doesn't really care about the people, they care about the money.
Right.
And
Human
they've been,
warehouses, basically.
yeah, but this facility I worked in Fort Smith, Arkansas, had a shadow person. And that's what I call him. That I worked second shift and late at night before I got off. You know, you do your last rounds, let's say at 10:30. You got off at 11. And my last round, I would see him go down the hall.
Hmm.
And he'd walk down the hall and he'd take a left or a right because I worked where I worked, it was a T.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked the main hall. And I'd see him out of the corner of my eye and I started calling him Charlie. And he would walk down the hallway and he would take a left or a right depending on which ones were in hospice or on hospice. And he'd go into a room and I'd follow him. He'd go into a room and 15 minutes later, the call light would come on.
Mm-hmm.
And the person in that room had passed.
Aw.
And I call him Charlie. I still
Mhm.
call him Charlie. And telepathically, unlike my last night there, I seen him. And he actually stopped and looked at me and pointed at me where I could see him dead on like this.
Mhm.
You know, and in my head, I heard, "You're not going to die until you see me again."
Hmm.
I go, "All right." And since then, I've had 6 heart attacks, man killing heart attacks.
Mhm.
And I tell the doctor, "Fix it." "Oh, you can die. You better blah, blah, blah." I said, "Just fix me. I'm not going to die." And he goes, "How do you know?" I say, "Charlie's not here yet."
Mhm.
So they do whatever they got to do. Come out and say, tell Jim, "Oh, your wife's going to be fine." But Jim knows the minute I start talking to Charlie like he's a person,
Mhm.
eh,
It's
he's not going to have me long.
Mhm. It was the same with my mom when my mom was in hospice. When uh she was nearing the time of her leaving her mortal coil behind,
Hmm.
is the best way to put it. She started talking to people that weren't there in the room, and that was a sign. But we kept her mostly under morphine just to keep, the pain at bay. But yeah, she would talk and look off, and then we knew it was getting just about the time for her to pass. And we just let her, you know, go with the
Yeah.
morphine.
Jim's mom was on hospice. She passed away in January. You remember.
Hmm.
And she was allergic to morphine.
Oh.
And one day the day before she passed, she had a moment of clarity. She was out of her mind in pain.
Hmm.
She had a moment of clarity and she looked at me and she goes, "Rene, what's happening to me?" And I looked at her and I said, "Mom, you're dying." "Okay." And she was really good
Hmm.
after that. And she died that night.
Hmm.
But I had to be honest with her. I couldn't lie to her and say, "Oh, well, blah, blah,
Right.
blah." I said, "You're at home. You're on hospice by your choice and you're dying." "Hey, man, don't be doing that stuff." I heard it.
Was playing or editing a video he did earlier.
Oh.
He was flying a spaceship. That's what you were hearing.
Oh, that's not what it sounded like.
No, right? It did not sound like a spaceship, Sigmund. It did not. The remote died, so the audio come through the TV instead. Well, let's try to get through one more because we're nearing the end of our time. And this is Jazz Hands in Hell. I love the names on Reddit. They crack me up. I was a third shift supervisor at a lockdown facility. This place was allegedly built around Native American land, and the old superintendent's house was said to be haunted. Part of the third shift's responsibility was going around all the outlying buildings to make sure everything remained secure. One night, one of my coworkers came in from having done the security check. He told me that he had talked with a guy at the warden's house and everything seemed legit. I stopped in my tracks. No one lived there. The place was used as a state overflow storage. I asked him again what happened, and he said he pulled up and there were flickering lights like a TV was going. And he went up to the door, knocked, talked with the guy who said he was maintenance and allowed to live there. I told him absolutely not. Being the supervisor, it fell on me to go check this out. I legit thought I was going to run into someone unhoused who had found a place to stay. About 50 yards from the house was the old youth center that was known to have thieves break in and steal copper. Th- I just figured it was something like that. No matter what, I had to go and check. I made my employee go with me. We drove up to the house and it was pitch black, no
Come
cars
on.
around. He couldn't see anyone. I shined my flashlight into the windows and there was no sign of anything. I knocked on the door. Of course, there was no answer. I used my master key to get in. There was absolutely no sign of anyone that's been in there recently. The electricity didn't work. He pointed to where he saw the flickering lights. There was no TV in that room. No lamps. No nothing. Hi, puppy.
That's JoJo.
Hi, Jojo. You know how you can go into an empty house and just feel like it's been abandoned? It felt like that. Dust on the ground, undisturbed, a heavy, heavy silence. At this point, he was scared to death. I made him walk with me up the old stairs and clear all the rooms. We found nothing. No sleeping bags. Nothing looked like it had been moved or ripped out. On my way out of the house, I saw a little doll that had been tossed on a random filing cabinet. I knew that this story would get passed around because we were all nothing if not gossips, so I placed the doll in front of the window with our hands up as if it was waving, just to scare the next person who came in. So that's the story. Now, I've had weird occurrences when I worked night security, and they were corroborated by the local law enforcement. And then we had something happen right there in front of us that nobody could explain. When I worked at Carter Hall, they had a building there. It was called the Outdoor Kitchen. It was the original kitchen where they cooked the slaves on the plantation.
Right.
It was a tobacco plantation where they would prepare meals and then they would sleep upstairs, some of them. Well, they had turned in, this was a conference center. So they turned that building into like a standalone home house, basically, where somebody could stay in the upstairs room, use the kitchen, watch TV in the old kitchen area. They kind of turned it into like a living room esque spot. And there was TVs in the bedroom, that kind of thing. So we had a couple weird things happen in the main house. And then because I was training somebody that was an ex-policeman, he got injured. He hurt his knee or his back, and he wasn't able to do law enforcement. So he was transitioning into the private sector, private security. And I was teaching him how to do the rounds. And we go back to the desk. We get an alarm sound for a motion sensor in the outdoor kitchen, or the slave kitchen is what they used to call it. So we get in the patrol vehicle, we ride around the property to the kitchen, the lights on. Now, we cleared all those buildings. They were locked. All the lights were off. I come to the point, I would come across lights all the time on with a flashlight, you know, to do my rounds. So I wasn't turning lights on. So I'd make sure when I went through the building, I was flipping them off, not on and off. Because the next morning report, they were saying lights were on. Common occurrence on that property. So we're like, okay, well, of course, part of that, when a sensor like that is tripped, the county police come in. So they met us in front of that house. And we were standing there talking. And he's like, all right, let's go in and clear this building. So followed the policeman in. We cleared the entire building. We turned the light off. I set the alarm again for the building. We walk outside. And we were kind of talking about it. And like, I explained to him that sometimes this will happen on this property. It's nothing to worry about. Um, and this is basically what happens. The policeman walks you through because they're armed, we aren't. And we'll clear the property, make sure nobody's in it, lock it, set the alarm, make a note in our report. Well, then we start talking about how often that happens. And the law enforcement officer is like, yeah, we know you guys. And I'm like, we're always down here checking for tripped alarm systems. So the first thing you think when that happens is, okay, it's a bad sensor, right? Or something to that effect. Well, we're standing there in front and we're actually talking about the weirdness that happens. And we see that light come on in the living room. The motion sensor gets tripped again. And we're like, he goes, well, I guess we got to go in here again. So I made a point to look at the light that was on. This thing is one of those old lamps with the click, like the roly clicks, you know, that you have to click it twice to turn it off. And
Yeah.
click it twice to turn on. Okay. There's no way that can accidentally come on. They're not made that way. They're direct switches. It's either on, click, or off, click. There's no in between. So there's no way this light should be coming on. Now the light could trip the motion sensor because it's a change from dark to light. Maybe, but it just happened all the time. And that poor guy, oh my God, it freaked him out so bad. And there's other things that I don't actually happen what happened to him, but later on he quit because he couldn't deal with it. I don't know what they were doing to the poor guy. But yeah, he went into the office. He actually sat down with the owner and he was bawling. He says, I can't work there. And the boss actually brought me in and he's like, dude, he's like, you're this little tiny woman. How are you able to make these patrols at night by yourself? And these grown ass guys come in my office crying because the ghosts are messing with them. I said, I don't know. I guess they don't hurt me, so I don't, pick at them or whatever. I don't know what was going on there.
My dad one time was living with his Aunt Betty.
Mm-hmm.
And it was before he married my mom. And every morning he'd get up and do his morning routine, take a shower, blah, blah, blah. And every morning a cup of chicory coffee would show up on his nightstand by his bed. Two things. Aunt Betty didn't make it, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the pattern on the cup was not her pattern that she used for coffee or everyday use. Wasn't even what she used for fancy china.
So these coffee cups were just showing up
On his nightstand, and it was hot, sweet chicory coffee. You got to understand, this is South Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
They drink, and a lot of them still do, drink chicory coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And Aunt Betty'd go in, get his stuff, lay his clothes out, whatever, take that cup and pour it out. And it would show back up on his nightstand, coffee in it. And one morning, she went and got the cup and poured it out and turned around. And there was this old woman that looked so mad at her and told her that she had better quit pouring out Wayne's coffee or she was going to kill her.
Oh, my.
Well, come to find out, it was the woman that had owned the house originally. And her husband was named Wayne.
Oh,
And she did
okay.
that every morning. He'd go
Put
in and
coffee
he'd
on the
do his,
nightstand.
yeah. And she would, when Betty did that, she would get mad. And she finally told her, "Don't do that again. I will kill you."
Wow.
Aunt Betty never dumped that coffee out again.
Did he ever drink it?
Yeah, it was good coffee. It was fresh brewed.
Yeah. I had just had to ask, like, was it real? Like, did he drink
Yeah,
it? Like, did he actually drink it
it,
after that?
it was just like somebody had gone in the kitchen,
Oh,
made a cup
I'm
of
like,
coffee.
girl, keep doing that because I don't have to worry about making coffee. If you're going to do it, let him
But yeah,
enjoy.
he'd sit and drink it, and then he'd get up and get dressed and
Hmm.
go to work. But she said, "I never touched that cup again." He'd get done with it, and it would disappear
Huh. That, wow.
and reappear the next morning. But it was not her china
Hmm.
pattern on that cup.
It makes you wonder if there was some sort of like time thinning going on. Like both the husbands were interacting with the same
But
woman
yeah,
at a different
I
period in time.
I think what it was they had the same mannerisms and habits.
Mm.
Like her husband got up every morning, or got dressed, and
Mm.
she'd bring him in coffee while he was getting dressed. But my dad did the same thing. As soon as he got up, he had to have a shower.
Right.
And then he got dressed, and the pattern was the same, but
Yeah, that's
many, many
cool.
years
That's a
apart.
cool story. And most definitely, there was something going on there. She liked him. She didn't like her, but she liked him.
Well, she kept pouring out the coffee.
Right? She's like, I went through all the work to make that coffee for him to enjoy. How dare you pour it out?
Yeah,
Well,
and
I
she
hate
was.
to do it, Renee. We're
I
past our
know.
time. Well, my fellow creepy little weirdos, tonight we heard stories of haunted homes, unexplained whispers, shadowy figures, and encounters that may linger long after the screen goes dark. But for now, we want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced something paranormal? Something you still just cannot explain? Leave your story down in the comments below because who knows, your encounter may end up featured in a future episode. And if you enjoyed tonight's journey into darkness, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and sharing the channel with your friends. It truly helps us continue exploring the strange, haunted, and the unexplained. A huge thank you to Rene Hurt, my compadre for the night, for joining us so we can explore the terrifying side of Reddit together. And if you're not ready to sleep just yet, check out one of these haunted histories on this playlist right over here. And as always, thank you for watching. Good night and sweet dreams. Bye bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.